Hello, welcome back. Day number 2 of Breakthrough Week. I am just making sure my ducks are in a row here. People are on. All right. That's good. Okie dokie. So today is day number 2, which means yesterday was day number 1. And yesterday we talked about our mindset around what we want, being truly honest with what we want. And also, I got many replies from you all, and they were beautiful. And I replied to everyone, I believe, almost everyone. And many of my responses were why? Why do you want that? And because what I want you to do is first identify what do I want, but then the thing that's going to keep you going is your why. Why do I want this? How is this actually going to change my life? Because we can say, I want to go into my closet and get dressed with ease in the morning and not to fear how I feel or look. But why do you want that? Right? Because if we just now all of a sudden go to our closet and get dressed with ease in the morning, how does that actually change us? How does that actually change how we show up for ourselves that day? Right. And so it's really getting to that why that's going to help you continue to go on this journey versus what's happened in the past is that you start and you don't have that clear vision on what you really want and why you want it. So get really clear on the what. And then now, if you haven't done it already, why? How does this actually change your life? Right? Because that's what we want. We want to show up differently for our life. How does this change our life? We don't actually want a smaller body. We want the feeling we have and the way we show up in a body that feels like yours, feels like ours, right? So that was yesterday. And also our mindset and kind of why we're shaped the way we are when we think about losing weight or feeling better, right? We're shaped because of our past experiences with dieting, over calorie restriction, joining programs and hoping that this will finally be the answer. And we're conditioned to believe that less is more. But after yesterday, we know that that's not true. We don't have to continue to cut in order to feel better and achieve our results. Okay, question. Learn more about perimenopause symptoms and all that fun stuff. I can do every day of Mega Strong and do it at 100%, and I still have a menopause belly. So I will talk about weight loss resistance because that could be where your question is going to be answered. We're going to focus on that on today's Tuesday. So tomorrow is burnout, and then Thursday, and then into Friday, it's a heavy topic. So we will bring both of those in on those days. So we'll get more into that as we move along. But thank you for that. Now I know once I know your guys's issues, that's why I ask you, what do you want? That really helps me move my content to something that is really going to resonate with you, right? So, but today we're building each day, right? So today we're going to talk about your fatigue or your lack of energy, why you have it, and then what to do about it. Before we get into abnormal fatigue, let's actually talk about what normal fatigue is, because let's be honest, we're just normal human beings out here with human bodies that need rest. And sometimes we think that just the general needing of rest is a problem. And most of the time that's not. There is abnormal fatigue, but what's normal, right? If you don't sleep enough and you're tired, not abnormal fatigue. You should probably sleep enough, right? And when I say enough, most adults need between 7 to 9 hours of sleep. And so if you're somebody who is always getting 7 hours of sleep and you actually need 9 hours of sleep, there's not a problem there other than you're just not sleeping enough, right? So if we know that you could just sleep enough, you would have enough energy, there you go, right? So start shifting your routine to get more sleep. The other thing is if you can't shift your routine to get more sleep, then you got to ask yourself what you're doing instead of sleeping. And then you got to also ask yourself, what are you doing on the other end of it to make yourself feel like you're not tired, right? So that can look like over caffeinating, which can end up to make you feel more tired. We can't blame our bodies for not sleeping enough. Okay. Your body's going to send you cues that you need more sleep if you're not sleeping enough. More fatigue at certain points in your cycle, in your menstrual cycle, is normal. Nothing has gone wrong if you're a little more tired in your luteal phase, which is the week before your period actually starts. You're supposed to feel more tired at this time. Nothing has gone wrong. This is an evolutionary thing that has been built into your body. We are women in menstrual cycle rhythms. Every 28 days, we go through different phases in order to support the evolution of the human beings on this earth. And part of that is bringing your energy inward in that luteal phase of your cycle to protect possible pregnancies, to protect babies that may be born in 9 months, even if you don't want to have a baby. Even if you have zero inclination of having a pregnancy anytime soon, if you're past that phase of your life, it doesn't matter. You still have a female body that works in this way. And so if we can understand that, then we can work with our energy, ebbs and flows, instead of working against it and think something has massively gone wrong because I'm tired and my period is going to start next week. Nothing has gone wrong. We don't have to fix that. But today we're going to focus on abnormal fatigue. Okay. So this can look like waking up tired, even when you've slept your 7-8 hours at night, right? So you feel like you don't remember waking up and tossing and turning, you fell asleep with ease, but you wake up and you just cannot get out of bed. And then once you're out of bed, you just cannot get that energy up and going. Okay. It looks like having multiple slumps throughout the day, and then you need to have food or caffeine to get out of it. Now, there's some part of this where like, okay, yeah, we do have to eat in order to create our energy. And we're going to talk about that. But also like having a lot of cravings, and then that gets you out of your energy slump. Okay. Not something that's normal there. But having lots of slumps can also mean like blood sugar instability, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. Cravings for sugar, processed foods, really highly palatable foods, things that give you really big dopamine hits. So sugars, things that are very highly processed, things like that give you an instant boost of energy because they're very high in carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are an instant source of energy. So when you are feeling very tired and fatigued, your mind and your body are going to go to, where do I get my energy as quickly as possible? From sugar, right? Because it goes straight into your bloodstream. Your body can use it like that. Not feeling recovered from your workouts, or not even be able to work out because you're so tired. Okay. So you go and you do a hard workout and you are very fatigued and sore from for the rest of the day because you worked out really hard. Your workouts should give you energy. They should not deplete your energy. If you're noticing that that's happening, there's something going on with your energy and your lack of being able to convert your energy, the energy creation process. So the food into energy for your body. Your body's not able to recover from those workouts. Why? The feeling, and I remember this very distinctly, and I would think about it all the time and never really realized it was such a problem, what was going on with my body. But I felt like I had like 10-pound weights on my feet, and specifically at the 3 to 4 p.m. mark of the day. Why does this happen? Right? This is happening because of some hormonal imbalances going on. Hormones are lots of different things. We're going to get into that more, right? I want to build on this. I want to give you a whole bunch of information, but we have lots of different hormones sending lots of different cues to us. And one of those cues is your cortisol. And a lot of times when we're very fatigued, it's because of a lack of cortisol. And by the 3 to 4 p.m. time, you have run out. You have no more cortisol to get you through the rest of the day. This is a form of what tomorrow's topic is, which is adrenal fatigue or burnout. And what it will feel like is that you can barely move your body. Like moving your body feels so hard, right? And I would walk around and be like, it feels like I have a weighted vest on. It feels like I have 5-10-pound bricks on my feet, and every step is so much effort, right? Not normal fatigue. having mental fatigue and lots of brain fog. I would be doing coaching calls and I would just completely lose my train of thought. I would be like, I don't even know what I was talking about. And I was like, and I'm supposed to be a really healthy person here. What is going on? And I also noticed this with clients that they just don't have clear thoughts, right? They feel like they lose their train of thought right in the middle of it. They walk into a room, they can't remember why. Now, sometimes this is because you're overwhelmed and you're literally trying to do too much, but sometimes it's just like a normal day for you and you just don't even know why you're walking into rooms anymore. We like to make fun of this, but this is not normal, okay? All of these are symptoms of your body down-regulating and sending signals for two things, which is basically the same thing: protection and safety. Your body will always do what it needs to do to keep you alive. Remember, your body always has your back. The problem is that you think your body is a problem when it's in fact just responding to your environment. You think my body is a problem because it feels tired all the time. The problem is not that your body feels tired all the time. The problem is that you think your body is a problem. The problem is that you're putting your body in an environment that it is trying to downregulate its energy in order to keep you safe. So, like we talked about yesterday, you have likely been dieting most of your life on and off, right? That means that you go through phases for a period of time that you eat very little and then you quit. And then you proceed to overconsume the wrong things, the things that you've been trying to over restrict yourself from, like, oh, don't eat any sugar. Oh, don't eat that. Don't eat that. Don't eat that. Right. This sends your message to your body that there isn't enough food, right? When you go through phases where you eat very, very little, and you try to just force your way, just white knuckle your way there, right? That sends the message to your body, there's not enough food here. And then B, then you go and you overconsume a bunch of junk food and highly processed foods because you have lost that emotional capacity. You have ran out of emotional capacity to get yourself through this. And now there's a lot of food, a lot of calories, but not many nutrients. And then it sends the message that, see, we don't know when we will have access to the foods we need. Things aren't good out there. Think back to your ancestors who lived through famines, who lived through times when they did not have the income for foods. We have come from these ancestors. We are not that far off. And so when you send the message to your body that there isn't enough food, and then sometimes there's a lot of food, but there's never quite enough nutrients, AKA quality food, it's gonna think things aren't good out there. I'm gonna hold on to everything I can. So your body slows your metabolism down to a point where it can sustain where you're at. Your metabolism is the rate at which your body uses energy. So if your metabolism is low due to eating less and constantly dieting, it will only be a normal feeling to feel fatigued. You aren't creating the energy you need to be productive, incorporating movement, and to get done all the things that you want to get done because your body is in an effort all the time to produce less energy because it doesn't trust the energy coming in, which is the very little nutritious food you're consuming. Your body is restricting energy production and sending messages to you that you are tired in an effort to keep your body safe, right? It's just your body trying to keep you alive desperately. This is just your body being very conservative with the energy it has, which, according to the signals it's received, that there isn't enough food. So when there is food, be sure to store it and use as little energy as you can throughout the day, which makes sense, right? Which would be appropriate for humanity to keep you alive. Your body does not know it's 2023. It did not get the update, right? We are not that far off from our ancestors. And we've got to stop treating our body like it's just this production of technology. It's not. Our bodies are very similar to what they were like 500 years ago. What was life like then? It sure wasn't full of Twinkies and Oreos and Netflix and phones and blue lights, right? It was vastly different. So let's talk about some things that you can actually, I want to bring into like, what does this actually look like day in and day out for you in 2023? Okay. This is about your sleep. It's also very importantly about your meal timing and how this all plays into your daily fatigue. So the timing of your meals throughout the day plays a very important role on the hormone cortisol. Cortisol is usually known as that stress hormone, right? We don't look at it as bad. It's not bad. We need to have cortisol. It's neutral, right? We want to have some. We don't want to have too much. And we definitely don't want to have too little. We want the ideal amount, especially for your energy and your sleep. So this brings me to, I'm going to quick touch on this because it's always a hot topic, fasting. Listen, if you're fasting, whether unintentionally or intentionally, and you are tired, stressed, or unable to lose weight, fasting is not helping you. It's hurting you. Some fasting is okay. We do want to have some digestive rest when we sleep. This is important for deep sleep, but it's the fasting all morning until lunchtime, running on caffeine, and then eating everything in sight from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. that's hurting you. Here's the reason. Your body needs cortisol to digest your food and move the nutrients to where they need to be for energy production. When all of your calories are coming in on the last part of your day, you're calling on a lot of cortisol. And here's the other thing to remember about hormones. They need to be balanced. And cortisol's yin-yang hormone, so most hormones have a yin and a yang. Melatonin and cortisol are yin-yang hormones. When one is up, the other is down, and vice versa. So if you're eating all of your calories later on in the day between 12 p.m. and 8 p.m., you're calling on a lot of cortisol and you're pushing down your melatonin. And then when you're not eating in the morning, you're not allowing your cortisol to rise. Your cortisol is going to go down, your melatonin is going to stay up, and now you feel tired, and now you can't get your butt out of bed, and now you need 3 cups of coffee to get going. So, and then when you're eating all those foods later on in the day, now you're calling on cortisol, which is going to be higher on the time at the time of day when your melatonin is supposed to be rising so you can get good, productive, deep sleep. You aren't able to get the deep sleep, and then you wake up exhausted because of your poor night of sleep, because your body is busy digesting and assimilating nutrients when it should be sleeping. So then you rev up the caffeine and then you do it all over again. This is a recipe for fatigue. So do yourself a favor and take these notes. Finish your meal 3 hours before you go to bed. At a minimum, 2. And this is a hard stop. I don't care if you're premenopausal. I don't care if you're postmenopausal. 2 hours before bed, a hard stop of no food. And 3 hours before bed is optimal. When you do this, you allow your melatonin to rise, you allow for a good deep sleep, and in the morning, then you allow for that beautiful cortisol rise. That's a natural energy boost that you can get up and get going and moving. Your cortisol rhythm and your circadian rhythm. So your circadian rhythm is your 24-hour cycle clock, right? It's with the sun. The sun is circadian. It's a 24-hour thing. We are also circadian humans. And this is always going to play into your energy access and your energy creation just by creating creating fatigue in a way to conserve. Okay, so your body is going to down-regulate your cortisol. It's going to wonky up your circadian rhythm in a way to reserve your energy. What also goes into hormonal balance and your cortisol rhythm is your blood sugar stability. And this is a very common reason for your fatigue. So if you're feeling tired throughout the day, or you have a lot of slumps, ups and downs, this is a blood sugar thing. When we eat, okay, and also a caveat about blood sugar is that I talk about blood sugar all the time. All of my clients are working on regulating blood sugar because this is something that everyone needs to do. We often think it's a diabetic thing. It is not. This is the reason that people have weight gain or the inability to lose weight, or they have fatigue, or they feel very stressed out. Blood sugar is the thing that's down here that needs to be worked on in order to get to where you're going, right? When you think about the basic needs of a person that need to be first, that's down here. That's blood sugar regulation. That's how important this is. It does not matter if you're a diabetic. It does not matter if you don't have diabetes in your family. Blood sugar is that important. It needs to be down here. It needs to be the base of your triangle so you can move up that triangle into where you're going. Your goals are up here. Blood sugar is down here. That is how important it is. So a little bit on what is blood sugar? Why does it matter? When we eat, we absorb the sugar and the starch from that meal into our gut lining and then into our bloodstream. So that sugar goes into your bloodstream. Your body senses this sugar, aka glucose, and it releases the hormone called insulin. And insulin just shuttles that sugar into the cell so it can be used for energy. And that's the most important thing that you need to know. Okay. Insulin is your little key to creating energy. It will make 3 different steps. First, your muscle cells for immediate energy. This is important, and we will go into this again, but your muscle, so your workouts, right? When you're using your muscle, they're using the glucose. They're creating energy. And your muscle is like a sponge for sugar. It's the most beautiful resource you have on your body. Do not discount it. Then it goes to your liver for some glucose storage, and your liver is like your little backup generator. And then your fat for energy storage for later on. Okay. We thrive when we get a moderate amount of glucose. The problem is that our body doesn't get a moderate amount of glucose. It gets a ton from lots of starchy carbohydrates. So carbohydrates that have lots of sugar in them from processed foods, or we get none because then we decide that keto is a good idea and that we should remove the carbs. Like if I can lose weight really quickly, how do I do that? I cut my carbs and then I'll lose a bunch of weight, right? Yeah, you'll lose weight because carbohydrates are holding on to a lot of water. So you lose a lot of water right away. Then you start to lose some body fat. Sure. Yeah. But how long is that going to get you to where you want to go? Likely not. And if energy is a problem for you, my friend, cutting out carbohydrates is not your answer. It's like watering a plant. Don't water it too much and don't not water it, right? We need to find a happy medium. So when your body is releasing insulin, it's from the amount of sugar that you've eaten in that meal. It's always going to guesstimate how much it's going to need based on how quickly the sugar is being absorbed into your bloodstream. Your body does not want too much or too little sugar in your bloodstream. Both are very bad. So it's going to tend to release more insulin than necessary, especially if you have a lot of sugar released quickly. When this happens, insulin tends to overreact and it shuttles way too much glucose out of the bloodstream very quickly. It will make a stop at your muscles. And then if that's full, it goes to your liver. And then if that's full, then it goes to your fat storage because that's unlimited. You have unlimited capacity of fat storage. And now that your blood sugar has spiked and insulin took all of it out, now your blood sugar levels are coming down really quickly. And how do you think that feels for you? Not good. You will have cravings, right? Sugar cravings, because your mind and your body are like, whoa, where'd all the sugar go? We need sugar right away. Send out the cues. We need sugar, right? So why are we looking for chocolate after we have dinner? Why do you think we're looking for chocolate after we have dinner? Because we had a blood sugar spike and now we're coming down from that. Or we have something called insulin resistance, where the insulin is not actually moving that sugar into the cell. And so our cell is very confused saying, hello out there. I could use some energy. And then the sugar is just sitting here in your bloodstream and nobody's doing anything about it because your body is over it, right? The insulin have stopped caring. It's like when your kids are like, mom, Mom, I want a snack. Mom, I want a snack. Mom, I want a snack, right? Pretty soon you just don't even hear it anymore. You're just walking about your day. Like you can totally tune them out. This is exactly what insulin resistance is. Okay, I lost my spot here. I got off on a tangent on insulin. Okay, so once that blood sugar starts to go down, we start to look for more sugar because sugar is that immediate source of energy. And then we end up choosing something that's quickly absorbed, carbohydrate, so that we get that blood sugar back up. And then we'll feel better for a short amount of time, only to end up with the same thing happening over and over again. It's this vicious cycle. I also want to bring up another source of sugar cravings while we're on the topic, and it's because of your gut microbiome. Your gut microbiome is full of bacteria. We are living bacteria, human beings, okay? We have a balance of great bacteria and we have a balance of not so great bacteria. We want these not so great ones in a low amount. In a low amount, they are no problem. But guess what these not so great bacteria like? Sugar. And these guys are real smart. So once we start eating sugar, we are basically just pouring some fuel on this fire of bad bacteria. And now the bad bacteria are going to continue to grow and multiply, and they get super happy because their primary source of fuel is sugar. So they're going to grow and grow and grow. And then once we start to eat less sugar, these guys start to throw a huge fit. And they start to send signals, eat more sugar, eat more sugar, eat more sugar. And that's why it's when we're cutting out sugar out of our diet, why we feel so uncomfortable, because these guys are just, they're making it a pretty tough environment for us because they're in a tough environment because they're slowly dying off. And they send lots of cues that they're miserable. And then we feel miserable. But what I can tell you is that this process here is like a 48 to 72 hour process. If you can get past that, your cravings for sugar will be so much better. And then your blood sugar stability will be so much better, right? It's just those first 48 to 72 hours that are pretty miserable. So some other signs of blood sugar instability, just so you can keep an eye on yours, is brain fog, feeling more anxious, some depression, fertility issues, hormonal imbalances, headaches, irritability, and then sleep. When you sleep, your body releases stored glucose from your liver so you can continue to get through the night. And you can actually experience some blood sugar instability even without eating while you're trying to sleep and recover, because your body's going to release some of that stored glucose in your liver. And if it has too much, if it's packed full, it's going to release a little more than what's necessary. And you're going to experience ebbs and flows, too high of ebbs and flows of blood sugar stability while you're trying to sleep. That looks like you waking up often. You think you're waking up to pee, you're actually being woken up because your blood sugar is becoming unstable while you're sleeping. So it's a vicious cycle that many of us are on, and we think it's normal, but it's not. And it can easily be solved by putting more focus around the types of foods you eat, aka macronutrients, and the time you eat. So I'm going to talk a little bit about macronutrients. What are they? There's three of them. Or no, sorry. Yeah, there's three of them. Carbs, fats, and proteins. But carbohydrates are very important in today's topic. We have two forms of carbohydrates. One is starchy, and starchy raises your blood sugar. The other one is not starchy. That one does not raise your blood sugar, and that one is full of fiber and nutrients. Just so you know, the non-starchy carbohydrates are the vegetables in your diet. And the starchy carbohydrates are the things that are full of sugar. This can be fruit, this can be pasta, legumes, breads, and pastas, and fruits, and then also processed candies, things like that. Potato chips, all of those are going to be starchy carbohydrates. So, and then there's fats, and then there's proteins. We want to have starchy carbohydrates. They still have nutrients in them. We still want to get our energy sources from them. But it's very important that how we consume our starchy carbohydrates, that we wrap them up in a fat and protein and a non-starchy carb blanket. We don't have naked carbohydrates. So that just simply means when you have a banana, you also choose a protein and you also choose a fat to have with your banana. This is going to help slow that absorption of that sugar into your bloodstream. And instead of having a big spike, calling on a whole bunch of insulin and then bringing that sugar crashing down, and then you're looking for more sugar down here, that allows for a slow absorption with the banana and the peanut butter and, let's say, a hard-boiled egg, right? So then you're going to have a slower absorption of that banana. You're going to get your energy sources, and then you're just going to have a nice slow down, like downward hill, right? And then you're going to go back up, and then you're going to go back down. That's what we want. That's what blood sugar stability is. It's still up and down, but it's not spiking super high and then crashing down low. If your blood sugar is high, inevitably it's going to be low, which will make you feel tired. When it's high, you also feel tired. So if you're never stable, Mabel, right, in the rolling hills, you don't feel energized. Tomorrow, we're going to discuss burnout, adrenal fatigue, and stress, which are all major factors to your fatigue. So we're definitely going to continue this conversation tomorrow. Hold on. Okay, but I also want to go back to gut health just for a minute. So we talked about earlier on the intentional or maybe unintentional undereating and the lack of nutrients that can play into your fatigue and why that happens. Sometimes even when you have a pretty good diet. So let's say you're somebody who already has these habits in play, right? You already have pretty well balanced meals. You already track your macronutrients, right? But you're still feeling fatigued. One of the reasons is because of your gut health. Okay. So, this is because of your lack of nutrient absorption, even when you're eating the right foods. So when your gut isn't actually functioning in the way that allows you to absorb nutrients and then create energy from those nutrients, your gut can have many imbalances. It can have overgrowth or undergrowth of your microbiome, where all the bacteria hang out. And it can also contribute to very sluggish digestion. If your digestive system is slow, your body is going to downregulate your metabolism, aka your energy, because it's using so much of your energy to breaking down and assimilating those nutrients. This also leads to poor hunger cues and a poor appetite, which leads to natural undereating, and then the cycle continues. And I often see this with people who are waking up. And when I said earlier, if you're fasting, either intentionally or unintentionally, those of you who are unintentionally fasting because you don't have an appetite, I am speaking to you. You don't have an appetite because your hormones are imbalanced. Your cortisol and melatonin are not in sync with your day. And we know that also you have a poor appetite in the morning. That tells me that you have very poor, sluggish digestion. And when things are taking a really long time to absorb and move in through your body and in through your GI system, that is telling me that your body is looking for a way to downregulate. It's looking for a way to make you feel tired, so that you hear the cues, I'm tired, and that it's just hoping you, please, for the love of God, go take a rest. Okay. And this is really going to hit home tomorrow when we talk about stress and burnout. So as you can see, there are many reasons what we talked about today. We talked about some gut health. We talked about your sleep and your eating patterns, your meal timing, but also the composition of your meals and how you stabilize your blood sugar throughout the day. These are all stressors on your body. So if one is playing a role, most of them are playing a role, and they're feeding off of each other, and your body is in an all-time protection of your very precious resources, which is your body fat and your energy. So from today, I want you to truly start paying attention to your energy, because you're doing yourself no favors by walking around with a coffee complaining that you're so tired while you scroll your phone at 9 p.m. at night. Talking about tired is one of the biggest disservices you can do for yourself. Talking about tired will only make you feel tired. Maybe you want validation. Sure, you can validate that you feel tired, but that's not the reason. But that's not a reason to go out and create the energy you need to thrive and just get through your day. You can do this by simply implementing the things I've talked about today. One of the biggest disservices you will do for yourself is to think that you are not the creator of your own energy. You are. Your energy is created by the food you eat, by the digestion and assimilating of nutrients that your gut does, by sleeping, and by movement, and by sunlight. You do all of those and you should have energy. Now, there are still some reasons why you may not have energy, and we will talk about that tomorrow in stress and burnout. But you have to have the basics down in order to be creating your own energy. Otherwise, yes, you are going to walk around being tired. You are going to walk around with a coffee all day long to just get through. And then you're going to go to bed at night and all of a sudden you're going to feel wired. You're tired, but you can't fall asleep and you don't know why. Now you do. Now you know that your cortisol is high at the wrong time of day because you are asking your body to eat food when it should be sleeping. You are asking your body to digest and assimilate nutrients in a time where it should be rest and restore. And then you wonder why you wake up and you're tired. You don't have to wonder anymore. Simply moving your meals to certain times of the day, moving your calories earlier on in the day, eating less food later on in the day will get you the energy creation that you're craving without walking around feeling so tired and complaining about it. The other thing that I forgot to put in here that I totally remembered is that you have got to put that goddamn phone away. Okay, like 3 hours before bed would be great, but I feel like that's a big ask. So at least 1 hour before you go to bed, there is no scrolling. No scrolling. Do not even check Amazon to see when that package is coming. And I know you do because I do that too. Right? Checking just that one little thing on Facebook. Oh, did they reply to my message? Oh, that one thing over there. I forgot to do that. So you grab your phone and you go and you are hooked into that goddamn screen because it was created to hook you. Right? And then pretty soon you're scrolling and you don't even remember why you went on Facebook. Put it away. Out of sight, out of mind. Do yourself a favor. No phone in the evenings. That is going to create more cortisol. We just talked about all the cortisol and all the melatonin. Your body cannot create melatonin when you're looking at that screen. You have got to put it away. And I know that you are on your screens because my computer tells me when my followers on Instagram are most active. And do you want to know what time that is? 9 freaking p.m. So I know that you are on your phone scrolling and I know you're waking up exhausted. You have got to put that phone away. It is doing you no favors. That phone is not going to be there for you at the end of your life when you're wondering why you didn't take care of yourself. That is the simplest thing you can do is put that phone to bed so you can wake up and you can slay your day because you got some really good rest and now you worked out and now you're motivated to eat healthy food and then you have energy for the rest of the day so you can show up and you can be the person that you want to be. You can be the mom that you want to be. You want to be the confident woman in your job. You want to show up as the significant other in your relationship that you truly want to be. That's what this is about. This isn't about just not feeling tired. This is about being the person, showing up as the person that you want to be in your life for those who love you. This is your responsibility to make sure that you have what you need in order to get good rest. Get good rest. Put the foods in your body that you need to be putting in your body. No more excuses. I know that you can do this because these are all very doable things. And if it feels like too much, simply start with not looking at your phone at 1 hour before bed. And then from there, no more eating for 2 hours before you go to bed. And then in the morning, you eat your breakfast and you stop waiting until 10 a.m. or 12 p.m. You eat it in the morning. Breakfast time. That means within an hour of waking. And you might feel like that's kind of hard and you may not want to, and you're going to say, I don't feel like it. But sometimes you have to show yourself tough love. And when it's 7 a.m. and you've been up for an hour and you still don't feel like eating, You've got to eat. Do you let your children go to school without eating breakfast, even though they don't want to eat breakfast? You don't. You make them eat breakfast because you know that's what's best for them, but yet you don't hold yourself to that same standard. You have got to hold yourself to that standard. This is your responsibility. Eat in the morning, eat less in the evenings, and put your phone away. Okay. After today, so today I want you to start creating awareness and noticing your fatigue and not complaining about it. When does it happen? Are there correlations to your eating, your meal timing, your sleep quality, and your quantity? Is it your stress? Is it higher? Where are you in your menstrual cycle? All of these things are information on your fatigue. And that's what you need, is information on your fatigue so you know, where do I need to tweak so I can feel better? And then also, when do you feel energized? Why do you think you feel that way? What's different about today versus a day where you were tired? Find the correlations. And then okay, let me see here. Okay, and then last but not least, your stress, which brings me to the conclusion for today. And I'm going to leave you hanging because we're going to go right into tomorrow's topic tomorrow at 1 p.m. for stress. And if you know me, if you think I'm on fire today about your sleep, you just wait until tomorrow when I talk to you about your stress. So make sure, and you guys did such a wonderful job replying to me yesterday, so make sure and do it today. I'm going to ask you questions in today's replay email about your fatigue so that you can start to create awareness around your fatigue and how you're going to tackle it. And then I will also email the winner for Elements. And then I'm also going to give Element away again for today's call because it's freaking hot out there and you all need some sodium. And Element is one of my favorite ways to naturally boost your energy in the afternoons because it is salt and salt is hydrating and hydration will give you energy. And we don't need to rely on so much caffeine. Okay. So I will see you guys tomorrow at 1 o'clock, same time, same place. And you have a beautiful rest of your day. Bye. Yes, you can still sign up for Breakthrough Week if you send it to some friends. The link is all still out there, and I will. It will all be there. So send them the same link, and they'll be good to go. Thanks, guys.